Hello and welcome back to yet another Tales from my backlog, where that's basically what you're gonna get for this month. Is predominantly Tales of my backlog, where, as you know, last Monday I wrapped up the Rocky franchise, excluding Creed. That's going to probably happen in the new year with how things are looking content-wise. Um, Today's video, as you can tell by the title, I am, of course, returning to the Alien franchise, even though at the end of my Aliens review last year, I said that I wasn't going to review them, but I've had a change of heart. I decided that I will, with the wrapping up the movie franchises that I've been reviewing recently, not Aliens, the Rocky franchise, Predator franchise, later on this month, the Terminator franchise. It's time that I look back at other franchises that I have done a couple of reviews for that and continue on with those. So that does include Aliens. So yeah, Alien 3. What did I think of it as a first time watch? I actually liked it. Now, I basically went into this movie with the lowest of expectations. Didn't there was a lot that I didn't know about this film. Actually, I didn't know anything about this film. Going into it. Obviously, my one of my friends, the Trash Picture Show on YouTube, he's a big Aliens 3 fan. Um, and yeah, I basically just went into this absolutely blind. Um, and yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it. So yeah, there's two characters in this that of which I kind of recognized immediately. The other one I kept looking at, I was like, is that really him? Because I just didn't recognize him. Those two characters were involved in another sci-fi show which I love, being Doctor Who. Yes, we have the eighth Doctor, Paul McGann, in this, as well as Danny Webb, who appeared in one of my favorite Series 2 episodes, The Impossible Planet slash The Satan Pit. Um, and so Danny Webb I recognized kind of instantly. Again, like this film came out in 1992, but when I watched The Impossible Planet of Satan Pit in 2006, obviously he aged a bit. That's how things work. But I could instantly recognize a younger version of him in this movie, even with the shaved head. And that's what was throwing me off of Paul McGann. Was the shaved head, because I was kept looking at his character. I was like, is that really Paul McGann? And I kept having to go onto Letterboxd and be like, what character is he playing? What's that character's name? And I don't even remember that character's death scene because he just didn't look like Paul McGann. But then again, I'm just used to seeing Paul McGann how he looks now and how he looked in the TV movie for Doctor Who. But yeah, I really like this episode because not this episode, this movie, because it basically shows, that like Palpatine, the aliens always come back. We see in the beginning of the movie that there's an alien egg and it attaches onto someone. I initially thought it was the little girl from the second movie, and then some shenanigans shits happen for the cryopods to be ejected out, and of course the only person to survive is Ripley, um, who is again fantastic in this movie. And like the first movie, which I don't like, by the way, it's a slow burner. Not as slow as the first movie, thank Christ. And it's not as action packed as Aliens, which is perfectly fine. Because it's basically Ripley is the only woman amongst these prisoners. And then we get to see a xenomorph. And how are these prisoners who have basically no weapons going to kill this xenomorph? And it's a really interesting premise, I have to admit. It's interesting to see how things play out. We see that Ripley is not feeling the greatest, and we don't know what that is until towards the end of the movie. And to be honest, I did clock what it was leading up to the reveal, but I still didn't know of the reveal prior to that. So I literally thought until the autopsy happened that that the facehugger attached itself to the little girl. Um, and then there's this really grotesque scene of one of the aliens popping out of the dog. That's very interesting, though. Like, we don't see the dog being, having one of those face huggers on it, for it. Now, the xenomorph, my main gripe with it is the CGI. Now, as you've seen, I'm watching the DVD version. I'm not watching the updated Blu-ray version. Um, so I'm basically looking at this with basically the original effects. And yeah, I mean, it was 1992. CG wasn't as pronounced as it is now, but I still prefer a practical effect for the xenomorphs because it just looked better in Alien and Aliens. But that's just my little nitpick. Obviously, then as the story goes on, a lot of the prisoners get picked off. Paul McGann's character survives the attack, calls it a dragon at one point. And they try to set it up so that they can burn it out because xenomorphs don't really like fire, but that doesn't work. And we also get a scene where after Ripley's love interest, who is another actor that I recognized from the Imitation Game, which I watched last year, which I didn't do a review for, and I really enjoyed it. And once he gets killed, we get the scene where the xenomorph, goes up really close to Ripley, and it's actually on the back of the DVD here. Almost called it the Blu-ray, but that scene right there, that was a very good scene, and that's when we know that something isn't quite right here. The xenomorph should have ripped her to shreds. And then as the film progresses, she goes back to where they found her, and they do a CT scan, and it turns out Ripley is the one that had the facehugger on. Like I said, I've already figured that. I had figured that out as it was leading up to that point. What was surprising was that it was actually a xenomorph queen, which kind of had me thinking about bees. Which is a weird segue, I know, but sometimes in bee colonies, if they don't like the queen, or if they think the queen isn't doing an adequate job, they will breed a new queen for it to then hatch to see if it takes over. And if it does, then the bees will go kill the queen. Um, yeah, I swear I don't have a special interest in bees. I just see these videos of beekeepers, and that was just what I thought of, there when it was revealed that it was actually an alien queen that was inside Ripley. Eventually, we have the rescue team come. They basically, we've known from the first film, all they really want is the xenomorph. We get to see a human version of the android from the last movie, whose name is escaping me. I really should have started writing these down. It's not important anyway. And after they kill the xenomorph, which is a really interesting scene, they pour hot lead on it, and then that obviously didn't work. So what Ripley does then is she activates the sprinkler, which, because hot and cold usually don't mix together, it explodes. I have done that a few times with glasses, drinking glasses, where I had pulled it out of the dishwasher back when I used to have a dishwasher, when I was nice and warm, fresh out of it, pour cold water into it, crack, boom, gone. And that's basically what happened with the xenomorph. And then what I think I knew, I kind of did know, um, someone said it somewhere, and I was like, oh, okay. And it was at the back of my mind until I was getting close that Ripley wanted to die. Because of the xenomorph that was inside her, and no one would fucking kill her. So then she basically self-sacrifices herself at the end of the film, and as that's happening, the baby xenomorph pops out of her chest. She grabs the little fucking thing as she falls and dies. And that was the film. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I went in with zero expectations for this film, and I came out enjoying it. And I love when that happens. When I go into a film with zero expectations and end up enjoying it. That happened in the Terminator franchise with Terminator Genisys. I know it's not a lot of people's favorites, but I came out really enjoying it, and I probably will pick this up on Blu-ray. It's a cheap enough pickup. Um, I'll probably have to order it online. But yeah, I definitely think I will revisit this film at some point. Obviously not right now, but maybe in 5 to 10 years' time, I might decide to revisit it. Because I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed Ripley's character arc, and honestly, had the franchise ended here with Alien 3, it would have been perfect. It would have just been, perfect for Ripley's character to end here. Obviously, still have some Alien films, like, Alien Romulus, which, as of recording this, hasn't come out for me, but by the time this comes out on the 9th of September, it will have. And I will, of course, get around to reviewing that sometime next year. I'm not going to say when, because, I still have Alien Resurrection to go through, and then I need to look at the decide if I'm going to include the Prometheus films or if I'm just going to review those separately outside of the Alien franchise, and then just go from Resurrection straight to Romulus or something like that. I'll need to actually look that up. But yes, that is going to be that. So yes, like I said, I will be going to review Alien Romulus, which I do have already. I bought it as a steelbook. That will probably be reviewed next year. Like I said, I'm about to plan out October's uploads. November's is already planned out. Um, December more likely going to be Christmas reviews, and so on and so forth. So that is going to wrap this video up. So thank you all for watching. Let me know what you thought of Aliens 3 in the comments down below, and I will be back on Friday. I'm not going to say what video it is because it's a little new thing that I'm going to start doing. I'm not going to say what franchise I'm going to be doing it, or what it's about. I don't think I'll even be setting it as a premiere. So when it drops at 3 p.m. GMT +1, I think you'll be interested. Anyway, I'll see you all on Friday for that surprise video.